All right, so this question is asking, why is triangle ABC congruent to triangle DEF? Okay, well, if we look at the relation, we can see that angle A is congruent to angle D. All right, you see how they just have the one tick mark? All right, we can say that angle C is congruent to angle F, and they both have that side that in between those angles that is congruent. So AC is congruent to segment EF, right? And because this is in the middle, we can say that they are congruent because of angle, side, angle, right? So it's important you see here how the side's in between the two angles. So we have to make sure the S is in between the two A's. All right, let's take a look at another example. So this time we're going to apply the angle side angle. All right, so and on this one, we're going to, the question says, all right, a technician installs cables from a cell phone tower. So here we've got our cell phone tower, all right, to the ground. To pass inspection, both cables must be the same length. All right, so we have to show that this is congruent to this. Does this installation meet the cable length requirement? Explain, right? So let's take a look at this, all right? So right now, we know that this angle is 52. All right, we're just going to clear this all out, okay? We know that these angles are congruent, okay? Now, the ground, we're assuming that it forms a straight line. This says this is 90. So a straight line has to equal 180 degrees. So we know that this also has to equal 90 because 90 plus 90 equals 180. So therefore we can say that these are congruent. Now, you see here how they share the same side, right? So if we were to separate it, because they share the same side, these are the two triangles that are formed. These angles are congruent because they're 52. These are congruent because they're both right. And these sides are congruent, okay, because they're the same side on that triangle. So therefore, because they are congruent by angle side angle, right, we can say that the cables are the same length because of the congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent, right? So if the triangles are congruent, then we can say that the hypotenuse, okay, or these sides also have to be congruent. All right, so we're going to take a look at a couple here, and we're going to see if these particular triangles are congruent, or see if we have enough information to say that they are. All right, so this says, are triangles JKL and triangle MNO congruent? All right, so this is triangle JKL, and this is MNO. So we have that angle, for this, we have angle K is congruent to angle N, okay? We have that angle J is congruent to angle M, and we have that the side in between, JK, is congruent to MN. Right? So therefore, because of angle side angle, we can say that they are congruent. So we can say, because of that, yes, they are congruent. Right? And so when you explain, all you need to do is just say yes, because of angle side angle. All right. Now, the second part says, are triangle JKL and triangle PQ are congruent? All right, so JKL, we have J is congruent to P. Angle J is congruent to angle P. We have angle K is congruent to angle Q. Okay, and then we have JK is congruent to RQ. However, we have a problem. Okay, RQ is not in between angle Q and angle P. All right, so they are not congruent. Right? They're not congruent, or we don't have enough information to say that they're congruent. Right? All right, so we've got a couple more that I want to look at here real quick. All right, and so the next one, we're going to look at an example for, let's see what that is. I don't think we want to do this. Yeah, so I want to do this one real quick. All right, so this one, all right, notice that we've got 58 and 58. We've got angle 60 and we've got angle 60. Okay, right here. Now, and then we've got expressions. So here, the side that we know is congruent is right here. Okay. Now, we can say that these are congruent. Okay. Because if we know these two angles right here, we know all three angles have to add up to 180 degrees. So if I take 180 and I subtract 58 and I subtract 60, we end up getting 62 degrees. All right. So we know that this angle and this angle have to both equal 62 degrees. So this may not be an angle side angle initially, but because we know these two angles, we can subtract them from 180 degrees and say that they are both 62 degrees. All right, so yes, they are congruent because of angle side angle, right? But we now know that these have to equal 62. But the question asks to find x. So that's where we're going to take one of them. It doesn't matter which. I'm going to take 4x minus 6, and I'm going to set it equal to 62. And now we're going to solve. So I'm going to add 6 to 62. I get 68. I'm going to divide by 4, and x is equal to 17. All right. So next one we're going to look at is, so we already talked about the angle side, right? So angle side basically works. This is like we just talked about. It works because if we know two angles, we can find the third angle. And so basically because of that, we have that angle side angle. All right, so we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I just kind of wanted to point that out. So now let's look at this one right here, right? And so we're going to try, we've got 4 examples, and we're going to try to determine if they are congruent by any of the 4 that we've talked about. All right, so here we have angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. So yes, angle, side, angle, right? For this one, we have side, 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 side. So we can say yes, because of side, side, side. This one, I've got a side, or sorry, an angle, angle, side, and this one, an angle, angle, side. Right? And then this one, we have side, angle, side, but this is side, side, angle. Right? So notice that this is angle, or side, angle, side, but this one, if we go around, it's side, side, angle. Right? These are not the same. Okay? So these ones are not congruent. All right, we're going to skip that one. All right, and last one we're going to look at. This one says, what additional information is needed to show triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by angle, side, angle? All right, so notice the side has to be between the angles. So if I have angle, side, we need angle B to be congruent to angle E. So what do we need? We need angle B to be congruent to angle E. All right, and the next one, question says, what additional information is needed to show triangle ABC is congruent to DEF by angle, angle, side? So we have to have 2 angles in a row and then a side. So in order, we couldn't be this angle because then that would be angle side angle, right? We need this angle right here, right, to be angle side, and it can't be this one because that would be angle side angle. So we need F. So what do we need? We need angle C to be congruent to angle F. All right, and that's it, guys.